Alright, alright. I think we're live. I think we're live. Hello, hello, good evening everybody. It's been a while, so forgive me if things don't work the best today. Gotta get into the streaming, but we have an exciting new series coming up for you guys. Just double checking also if the audio and everything works, which is gonna be the bankroll challenge. From 500 to 5k, and we'll start with a chill session at on 10NL today and see how it goes on CoinPoker, as you can see. Main reason is just available to most of you guys, and so we'll see how this goes. Let me just make sure everything's set up. The audio seems to be working fine. We have 4 tables going, that's good. Georgian is working. And let's play some poker, guys. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be back. So let's see how this goes. We got 4 tables going here. A crazy guy here, top right, who went all in with a few hands already. So I think we're even gonna widen our open range a little bit and try to play against this guy. Hoping he doesn't jam this time. That's just 3-bet. And then, yeah, we get a limp here from under the gun. So let's assume this guy's also a recreational. And let's bump this up to 4 big blinds. And we have ace king on the top right. Let's switch to table number 2, see if that's working. We got 2 folds, unfortunately. And see what happens with the ace king down on table 3. Oh, sorry, the king queen. We get a 3-bet from the big blind, but to a fairly small sizing, which is interesting. I think we'll call this, although obviously it's not the greatest spot, but the size is fairly small. So, and we flop top here, guys. Quality looks good. That's good to hear, Peter. Thanks. And we see a small c-bet. So far, so good. Let's hope this is not going to be the first stack that we lose, but rather the first stack that we win. Turn seems rather clean. We see another bet. Would have preferred to see a check, but we'll still call one. And that's another queen. That's a pretty damn good river, I'd say. And we see a check, unfortunately. Could still be aces and kings, obviously, but most likely just a give up, I'd say, at this point. Obviously, we have nothing else to do. See if we can win the first stack here. Would be nice. Don't want to time out. And let's go all in. Snap call. Pocket tens, guys. That's the first stack. We take it. Here we have an all-in. This guy goes all in a lot, but I think Queen Jack suited, although pretty looking hand, is just a bit too weak. That was easy. That was easy. Great start to the challenge. Just scooping in the first stack here after just 1 minute or so. I just see the lightning seems a bit dark, so I'm gonna try and fix that for the next one, but yeah, for today I think I'll just have to leave it like that. We see a couple of limpers there on table 1, so that's also a good sign. And now I also have 2 off cam tables, table 6 and table 7, which I still need to select the right ones for, so give me a second there. Property, that's supposed to be table 5, which is this one. And then we have also table 6, which is number 1, which is, oh, this isn't the right one already. Perfect. Let's go back to the overview, because we have ace king, we have a limper. Let's just make this, oh sorry, 5 big blinds here on table 2. Lots of action. Bit overwhelmed, but that's fine. We'll try and keep up. And we get a jam, guys. We're going to be all in again. This guy's been jamming a lot. And obviously at ace king, we're just going to flick this in. Hopefully I'm in good shape. Ace queen, that's perfect. Let's get a hold for the second stack of the challenge. Off to a decent start, guys. Off to a decent start. We're up 2 stacks after a few minutes, which is obviously amazing. That's where we want the challenge to go. So I guess this is a good time to kind of explain what the idea is. Let me zoom out though for a second. And more action. Table bottom left, we're just gonna check call after the flop went check check. Although we're not super happy that he goes for the larger sizing, but I think we gotta call 1. And then I think we'll probably just check fold on the river. But we win. So the idea of this challenge is to go from 500 to 5k, kind of show what it takes to escape the micros and potentially make it all the way to mid stakes. Obviously it's a long way to go, but I think it's a lot of fun to kind of stream and show the process along the way. And yeah, the first session today will be on 10NL, but as soon as we make it past 500 bucks, we will move up to 25NL, which I think is what I would recommend somebody who, you know, maybe played poker a bit as a hobby, kind of on the side, but then, you know, decided to take it more seriously, maybe studied a little bit already, got the fundamentals right? Instead of starting at 2NL, I think it's better to, you know, deposit 500 bucks, start with a little bit of a bankroll, but then kind of go for it right away. We'll go for a bluff raise here in the river. We can have a lot of 10x here. I think it's quite credible what we are trying to rep here. Obviously, see betting flop, hitting a 10, checking back, and then raising there. Let's see if we get it through. People fold on 10NL or not. But unfortunately we get called here by a 7, which is not ideal. So yeah, that's the goal of the challenge. I will start with 500 bucks, trying to make it to 5k as soon as possible. Today the session is gonna be on 10NL, but from now on we'll probably hopefully play on 25NL. Just give me a second there. Value betting the river flush. Check down, and hopefully we get some value now. But seems like everybody's folding. But we get 1 call, which is great. And then we'll zoom out. We have some small pots there. The pocket 5s are bluffing on the river now. We do get the fold, which is great. On table 2, we're 3-betting. We're getting cold called. So games are looking good, guys. Games are looking looking good. Oh, sorry. I think, no, I didn't. And not the best flop against 2 opponents. I think I'm still going to see bet small against 2 opponents here. Sorry, I have to stop using the hotkeys there. And here we already have enough tables. And unfortunately, we do get a jam, so we just have to fold. But we tried. And we can zoom back out. So yeah, that's gonna be the goal of this challenge, getting to 5k. We have another action hand, guys, sorry, can't explain. We're gonna isolate ace king against the crazy guy that just, you know, limps, 3-bets, cold calls, does all sorts of crazy shit. So let's see what's happening here. And then and we get 1, 2, 3 callers, guys. Game is crazy. Hello, says Heart Nocturne. How are you doing, my friend? This time I'm not gonna see bet with ace king. I'm just gonna check and hope to hit something on the turn. It's a decently dry and disconnected flop, but I think against 3 other opponents without really any equity. We want to just check and see. In the meantime, we also have kings over on table, on table number 5, which we are going to 3-bet. Hopefully getting some action against an unknown from under the gun. If not, we go back to table 2, where it just checks around. We're gonna keep checking. It's a bit annoying letting everybody realize equity, but I don't really think any pairs are folding here, and we might still have the best hand, so let's keep checking. Queen is not great. I think all of them can definitely have a random king, queen, queen 10, queen 8, queen 7, and we see an overbet now, multi-way. I mean, we're just gonna be out there, not really gonna do anything. Table 5, we open raise, we got 2 callers. And we're just gonna start with check back here. Delay might be slightly too big. Yeah, sorry. I think it's on 3 minutes right now. For these games, I could probably reduce it to like 1 or 2 minutes. Doubt anybody's really going to snipe me when I'm playing 10 and L. But thanks for the feedback. I'll keep that in mind for the next time. And now we see it lead out. I would prefer a smaller bet, but with the redraw, obviously beating all bluffs, drawing to a boat, drawing to a straight, I think we still have a somewhat easy call. Hoping to see a check on river. He has 10-9 as a bluff. Obviously we block some bluffs with the 6s, like a random, you know, 10-6. Happy to see the check. We're just gonna check it back, and we're winning as a 4. That's great. So we're in a little pot there, and apart from that we don't have any hands. So yeah, we'll also have a spreadsheet where all of you guys can follow along and kind of see how we're doing. And obviously Peter is also doing a challenge at the same time where he tries to basically do the same thing, but just with his approach. And I'm curious to see which approach will emerge victorious. Obviously I think Peter has probably more experience than me playing these stakes, so he might have a slight advantage there, but we'll see. We'll try our best. Obviously variance gonna play a big role there. Getting check raised, having the ace of spades is good, but I think his check raise sizing is a bit large. I'm just gonna fold right away with the ace-9. And table 2, we got flat called. Gonna start with a check, hoping he just goes check check. Very quick check. Tempting to just start bluffing this, which I think I will just do when he checks back so quickly. Make him fold 2 hands, you know, random hands that have some equity. And now just checking, and we're still ahead against like king queen with a club. Sorry, king queen with a diamond, which I think is his most likely hand after snap checking the flop. And then calling, and if he bets now, I am gonna call. If he check back a 7, sure, good for him. He could have pocket 6s, maybe a random ace-3, but also a lot of bluffs, so gonna still call there. Bit weird bluffing in a turn now. Obviously preferring if he doesn't bet pot, but I think he still has a lot of random stuff there. Has pocket nines. Well played by our opponent there. Didn't really expect him to check back and overbear on the flop that quickly. On table 6. But we're gonna take note of that. We defended. And against a larger c-bet, larger than 1/3, I think I'm just gonna fold right away. Not much else to do there. With some more equity we could do something, but I think here just folding. Yeah, I'm really excited, really curious to see. We're gonna upload the highlights, the best hands on YouTube every week or so, and you can see the progress between me and Peter. Who is gonna be, you know, ahead, who's gonna be behind. So I think that's also gonna be nice in case you missed the streams. What else is there? We're probably gonna do some, yeah, maybe we're gonna build in some extra additional challenges, or yeah, if you guys have any suggestion on how to make this series even better, feel free to leave your feedback in the chat or in the Discord. Still some things maybe we want to fix, like a progress bar or something to add to the stream layout. I also want to add music, so that's not too boring in the times that nothing happens. So still some improvements that I want to make, but you know, we just wanted to get this challenge started and rolling, and hopefully it all goes well. We can check back to 7 deuce, see a free flop, which is great. This one table we don't need anymore. Here we're folding. More tables opening. I had to join the waiting list for a lot of tables, but for now we have those 6 tables. I'm not really gonna table select too much today. Maybe for future streams I will switch around some tables. This guy still goes all in with a lot of hands, so that's good. Ace 10 on the bottom left, table number 3 we will defend. Flopping top here, it's a good start. This table we also don't need. Let me see if the audio is working well. Gonna start with it. Yeah, that seems good. Gonna just check call. Could also check raise for sure. Turning 2 pair. Only getting better here. And we face another barrel, not an overbet. We are fairly deep. There's no flush draw out there. Thinking of just laying the trap and calling, to be honest. Nah, but probably just raising. Yeah. Let's go to like 34.7, something like this seems good. Obviously he's gonna have a lot of folds, but if he has ace king, ace queen, I think he might call 1. And now jamming seems a little bit thin on the jack. 10, 8, 9 gets there, king, queen gets there, we lose to ace jack now. So I think just value betting a normal size is probably best. Our hand is probably worth around half pot-ish. I think his ace king, his queen will still call. Ace 7 is also definitely going to call. We get snap called, should be good there. Maybe could have even went for more. Unfortunately in CoinPoker you don't see what they had. On a break we definitely jam. But I think on this card maybe better to go for, well, I don't know. We have aces over here, so that's why I can't talk. We have more hands, so we're 3-betting here, we're folding here. We're gonna check raise here. We get 4-bet with aces quite quickly. We could call here. We could. Let's actually just call in position. decent, safe-looking flop. Should still be able to stack overpairs. He goes for a check, which is really, really interesting. We're gonna start with a small step there with aces. I think his overpairs might still just check raise. And we get a jack jam. Let's try and hold here against pocket kings, guys. Come on, ace. That looks promising for the first one. No king, and we can scoop another pot. That would be great. Come on, guys. Yes, let's do this. Let's do this, guys. I think this is the third stack. I think we lost a few pots in the meantime, so maybe we're only up 2 stacks, but great start to the challenge. Can't complain. Kind of obvious that he never really has a bluff there when he jack jams, but I mean, either way, whether we 3-bet or, sorry, whether we jam or just flat, the money kind of goes in there. But yeah, great start to the challenge. Already blaming it on variance. No, variance is great, Peter. I'm not blaming any variance there. I think we had a great start. How many hands are you both aiming to play for the challenge? Yeah, that's gonna be the part that's difficult. I really don't know how much time I will have to play, and we'll just see. I'm trying to do at least 1 stream a week. That's kind of the goal I've set for myself. Maybe things are good and people are enjoying the challenge, I have some extra time, I can maybe do another one. Don't know how many hands that will be in total per month. The pocket 5's calling with the potential weaker player behind, and the 9-4, I think. Oh, it's a 3-bet. I was about to cold call a 3-bet there with 9-4 suited. And more tables popping up. Let's see if this one is better. No, I don't really have any notes yet, so let's leave this one as well. Unfortunately, we don't flop a set, but we do get ace king. But how are you doing, fish cakes? Haven't seen you in a while. This guy's limping, so we'll take note of that on the one of the outer tables. And we have the ace king, which I will 3-bet bottom left. Still no set on table number 1, and no action with ace king. So we're just gonna check, not bluffing on a board like this one. Quite surprised to see this guy checking. Tempting to turn our pocket 5s now into a bluff. But at the same time, I hadn't doubt that they're really folding much their multi-way on this flop. Alright, now new tables are popping up left, right, center. Didn't see what we lose to, unfortunately. Table 2, I went for a small bet on the turn. And on the river, I think we can go for another small value bet. I think that's fine. It's thin, but yeah, okay, he checks back a 9. Well, we kind of have to check call anyway, so I don't really mind it. In the meantime, on let's show table 1, I guess, where we c-bet. And then potentially double barrel this turn. I think it's fine on the 10 turn. Good turn for us. And we also have a 3-bet pot on the table number 3, where we go for a small c-bet now. We get another call, which is a bit unfortunate. Probably going to just give up on the river. And we get check raised with the ace-3, which is also not great. He's gonna have some spades. 8x, 9x might have raised. We have an 8, which is a good blocker. Kind of tempting to bluff this one. I think I'm going for another bet there. But not loving this spot against the guy that was quite sticky earlier. Could have also checked back the turn, but we get some auto folds from like king x and ace x of spades, and we're probably losing to and lower pocket pairs. Might sometimes fold, hopefully. Who knows? But we just get raised, so yeah. seems like a 9-10, 9-7, something like that. Down here we're getting 3-bet. We're gonna go come in for the 4-bet here. Quite a large 3-bet, but we're still going for it. And we get a snap fold, which is great. Hello Nico in the chat. How are you doing? Thanks for the good luck. How are you doing, my friend? 4 to a straight, but we have a hard redraw. I think we can go for a small step there after he checks to us twice. Calls rather quickly. 9 and river, again not ideal to bluff, but I think I will still fire kind of, I will check pick this flop a lot. Gonna have a decent amount of 10x that can still bet. I could also overbet. To be honest, don't hate that either. Kind of wrapping a flush or maybe jack 10, and we do take it down, and we flop 2 pair on table number 2. I'm okay, man. Not played much poker this year. Basically recreational play, live tournaments. Yeah, that's fine too, man. Sometimes, life gets in the way and we have other stuff to do. Gonna check raise right away. Quite a wet board. We have top 2 pair. Hope you've been running well in your mid-stakes game. Hopefully some high stick now too. Yeah, this year been running not the greatest, but the grind continues, so that's fine. Not too worried. But lately it's been kind of turning around. An interesting spot here. Gonna go for a, not 14. Wanna make this 24. Oh, sorry. I always forget that I'm also having the keys there. So yeah, here with the ace king. Sorry guys. And we get a jam. Snap jam, not loving this, but he can still have ace king here, queens there. So we need to call this off for 100 bigs, 110 bigs. Hopefully not run into aces. Of course we run into aces. We need some diamond, guys. Diamond? Oh, that would have been nice to win at least one. And yeah, it looks like we're just gonna lose both, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now this is a setup against us. Table 5. We've opened, we got 2 cold callers. We went for a small c-bet anyway, and I'm going to check now on the turn. And call happily against a small bet. And then, depending on what he does on river, we might also call it river. Kind of tempting to lead now when he bets small. Is he really continuing to bluff there? Actually gonna lead out small here, trying to get value from a weaker king, maybe a hand like queen jack. Kind of pretend like I have a hand like a missed flush draw, ace 10, ace jack. If he has a pair, I think he's just calling. He min raises me. Again, we will just call this. Could be just clicking buttons. Is he really going small with a hand like king, queen, king, jack? Sorry, yeah, king, queen, king, 9, pocket 9s on the turn. I doubt it, but obviously when he min raises river, king deuce. So our read was good until the river. But yeah, he might also raise a weaker hand, as I don't think we can really fold. We can also just check call, kind of ends in the same spot. We get pocket kings. Let's see if we can get some action there. We get 2 callers, monoflop. We don't have the redraw, which is not great. Can just check it over, hoping to keep the pot somewhat small. Checks around in another spade on a turn. This is not what we were looking for. Could bet here, trying to get some very thin value from a jack, but I think just trying to get this to showdown is best. If the button now stabs, he can have like all the pocket pairs with a spade. don't think he checks back too many nut flushes, so it's kind of tempting to just go ahead and raise here. But then again, he might just check back. Do we call one still? Or do we just fold? This is an interesting spot there. I think we'll just fold for now. But all options seem kind of possible there. Calling, raising, folding. Seems to be a reg. Plays on 2 tables. Yeah, 2 tables. Yeah, also let me know, Team Exploit would fold there. Yeah, I don't like folding. Maybe have to start folding there. On table number 5. Sorry guys, I'm still a bit trying to keep up with the streaming stuff and explaining at the same time. We're gonna 3-bet against the guy who we know, at least now, that if he min raises on the river, he's really, really nutted, or at least fairly strong. We'll start with a small c-bet. We get a very quick call without really picking up any equity. We are just checking the turn. Our hand would be an okay bluff in theory, but it's not really a spot after snap call where I expect a lot of folds. If it's a pocket pair, it's gonna check back, and we get to realize our equity, potentially bluff him on the river. If it's an ace, it's probably best to just check fold and get out of there. Rufi the GTO beast. Yeah, I'm not sure how much a GTO is gonna help me though, playing 10NL and 25NL. But that's something that you guys will find out. Make sure to check out our YouTube video in case you're curious on how everything works. It's just a 1-minute short, basically, explaining what we're doing, what the goal with this is. And yeah, if you have still any questions, feel free to ask in chat, obviously. What else did I want to say? Yeah, there will be the weekly highlights on YouTube. We'll create a spreadsheet where you can follow, where you can see the results of both of us. This guy seems like a recreational 3-betting small, so we'll note that down too. And yeah, let's see how it goes. First stream today. We'll post the updates. Maybe we post the updates every time on Discord, so you guys can see that too. If you want, you can do side bets on who will win, me or Peter. Is Team GTO allowed to make the experts folds or always calling down if you think this overwould? No, like this is more just of a name to kind of distinguish the two of us, but we'll both play the way that we think is making the most money. So we'll definitely also have a lot of exploit plays, you know, kind of sizing my hand, and playing, you know, exploitatively in spots where I think I should play exploitatively. And 4-7 here, we just have to fold. So definitely, I think we'll both play very exploitatively throughout that challenge. It's probably the best way, but obviously I will try to have it somewhat based on theory there. Pocket deuces, unfortunately, we don't get to defend now, but we have 2 potential playable hands. We get a fold in 1, and we get a call on table 1. We'll flop a flush draw. This guy was quite sticky, so don't think I'm going to try to bluff him again. But we'll definitely start with a small c-bet. Probably barrel the turn and give up the river. That's going to be the main plan with this hand. Could also check back turns sometimes, especially in a turn like a 4, where now against a 4 and a jack, obviously we're drawing dead. So I think here I prefer simply checking back. He could do some bleeding here for sure. But we will, yeah, just check this behind now. And maybe chop now, unless he comes out firing really, really big. He could have some jack X for sure. Yeah, he comes out with an overbet. Good sizing by him. Yeah, I'm not sure if he can call. He can bet this kind of with like 6s, 7s, right? They're all beating me, and I don't think I'm calling for the chop there. So well played by him if he's bluffing me. We also, block the most likely bluffs there. In the meantime, we won a small one over on table 2, and we get another playable hand, which we are going to 3-bet against an early position opener, which is not great. Hoping to just see a 4, that would be the ideal outcome. Hopefully a big blind gets out of the way. Yeah, first successful fold. Now we need one more fold. At least there's a call here. This would be a great example, or this is a great example now of a thing where, in theory probably you're supposed to call, but in practice I'm definitely on 10 and I'm just folding in these positions. 4-bet size is also quite large. Yes, we're a little bit deeper, but just gonna get out of the way there. And then we have the ace king on table 1, where hopefully you get some action. We get a defend from the big blind. Not the best flop, not the worst flop. When we're opening under the gun, this is a quite decent flop. So I think I'm still going to c-bet. I could check behind, but I think I just like starting off with a c-bet. Just gonna do a lot of c-betting on this board, and we do unfortunately get raised. We have nothing, so we'll just fold. Table 3, we're open raising. Seems like our opponent disconnected. Yeah. So nothing else. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Would be tough otherwise in micros. Yeah, I mean, this is more just kind of our normal play style, kind of how we'd normally play, I guess. But you have to exploit to make it out of the micros, and maybe my approach is still going to be a little bit different than Peter's. Something that you can judge after watching both our streams. But I think, we're both gonna have to exploit a lot to make any progress on 10NL. Ace 4, if we defend a blind, when check on a flop, we're just gonna try to check this down. Could go for a small step there, but better ace X are still calling. I don't think he's calling king jack, king 10. Obviously there's some annoying rivers, like a 10 where he, sometimes improves with a random 10-9 or whatever. Check, and now bets half pot. I think here we just have to call. Yes, he could have a random pair, but there's also so many random hands. It's gonna be really, really wide blind. Bluff raising is an interesting option too. Don't hate it, but I'm not sure I'm getting enough credit there. And we lose the pocket 10s. And that's unfortunate. This guy also seems to be a reg, so we'll mark that. But yeah, once this checks down in super wide formations, I think we just have to flick in the call. And let's flip over to the pocket kings. Hopefully getting some action there. Nope, just a fold. You made a slightly loose defend, but with the ante, I think you have to defend a little bit wider, and he went like 2.2 or 2.1. Goes check on a low board. That's going to be quite good for me. I think I want to do a decent amount of stabbing on the turn there. Loads of sizings are viable. Gonna go for 75%, but trying to make some better ace high folds. He checks back and raises. Fortunate. We just have to fold though. Pocket 7s make sense. 8-7s make sense. Not too many other hands. And I'm going to 3-bet quite polar against what seems like a regular on table 2, which we take down, which is great. Our stacks are shrinking on every table quicker than I would like. But yeah, we have a playable hand on table 2. Wow, already streaming 45 minutes. Time flew by today. Hopefully get a bit more in the rhythm in the next couple of sessions. Opening a Jack 8. Again, this might seem loose on table 4 here, but I think with the ante out there, you know, have to play a little bit wider from every position. Which is great, because otherwise on the micros you have to play quite tight with the very high rake structure. But the ante kind of allows you to play a little bit wider. That's why I think playing on coin might be a lot of fun. Double Broadway, rainbow, disconnected. Just gonna start out with a small c-bet with my entire range. Obviously a gut shot, decent combo. And on the turn we have an okay hand to double barrel, but we have a lot of hands here. We face a check raise to a somewhat larger sizing. This is already quite close. This is quite close. I think we're still floating 1. Although his sizing is larger, we'd obviously prefer to have a backdoor. Turns like this one. Ace of ace jack. Jack 9. We block that. We have an open ender now. Prefer to see a check. We see an overbet on a card that improves. Yeah, this really sucks. Because now I don't even think we can call anymore. Obviously a lot of our V comes from just calling to bluff the turn. But it seems like he just kind of has it, and I don't think we get the right price to call there. A little bit frustrating. Because especially on a card like a king, we normally get to continue if he doesn't choose a super large sizing. But we can just kind of keep this in mind, that his large check raise sizing is likely to be a little bit too strong. 3-bet the ace-7 there I think is fine. And the ace-jack in those type positions, I think I'm just going to double barrel. And we'll also 3-bet the ace-king. So we have quite some action there now. Get another call, which is unfortunate. River brick, we just have to give up. He's very likely to have a king that's not going to fold. We blocked the nut flush, which is one of the hands that is folding. We would have continued bluffing if another club came. But now we just give up and lose against a king. And then table 2, if we 3-bet, I think we're gonna start out with a c-bet. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, we take it down, which is great. With on table 9, the pocket 9s, we get 3-bet to a very large sizing. In the 2 tightest positions, I think the best play is actually to just fold here right away. Against such a large sizing. 4-betting, yeah, seems like we have so many better hands to do that with. And when he goes so large, we don't really need to play many calls. We again make a somewhat loose open, but with the ante, normally it's queen 5 to bottom, and we get punished right away. I think with the ante, maybe going down to queen 4 is fine. So yeah, make sure, in case you haven't, guys, leave a follow here on Twitch so you get notified when we go on live the next time, so you stay updated with the with the challenge, to kind of see how it goes. And I think the rest is fine. Blind v blind here, 10-6, a little bit too weak. We'll just have to fold. I also don't have a HUD going, by the way, so what you're seeing is the same thing as I'm seeing. I think for that I need the newest hand to note version, which I might get in the future, but for now I think on 10L should be fine without a HUD. but obviously it would help a little bit just to get a feeling of who the recreational people are and who the regulars are. But with the sizings and everything, I think we should have a decent idea. Table 3, we're isolated. We unfortunately completely missed the flop. So what do we do? Probably check folding is fine. Half pot c-bet is fine. I think I prefer check folding without any equity. And then bluff if he goes check check. He goes for half pot bet. Yeah. Very different story if he had any backdoors there, but I think on a low board, when we completely break it, I think just check folding is best. And we have 2 playable hands on the button if it falls to us. And then a hand that we can very comfortably defend. With the ace-8 suited there. We flop middle pair, which is something. This guy also seems to be a regular. Seeing a large bet, that's not great from early position. And I think here I will do make one of those exploit plays. I just fold this right away. Facing a large bet on a board where he doesn't necessarily have the large bet. I think he's just gonna barrel way too often, and I am being put into indifferent on the turn a bit too much. So I think just folding right away is probably the best play there. Don't think he's gonna have, you know, a random king 5 of diamond that just fires once and then gives up. We get to open the 9-8 off from the button, and we get a very quick call from looks like to be a recreational. And against the recreational, on a good looking board for me, I will just throw the little c-bet, make him fold all his undercards, random under pairs to the 6 maybe, and then turn without any equity, without any redraw. I will just check this back and look to fold on river. Someone's following, but I didn't manage to read it. But thank you very much for the follow. I think we're gonna check this back now, although we don't really expect to win much. But I don't think he's gonna fold an ace. Maybe it'd fold a king sometimes. But yeah, he just trapped the nuts out of position there, so happy I didn't. And the queen jack out of position, we're deeper here. And this is a very small 3-bet, so we'll call. But we're a bit dominated with our hand, so it's not great. But maybe he allows us to bluff after he goes check check here on the turn. If he goes for c-bet, I think we just have to fold. On the turn though, I think we just need to give up. Just too many. Yes, just gonna smash his range, which is mainly gonna be ace king. Checks again, and another very, very, very bad river with the ace coming in. If he doesn't have an ace, he has like queen jack. So we're splitting. I don't really think he has like pocket 10s that check back on the flop. Just seem like a very natural c-bet, so I think he's just like ace queen, ace jack. He has those hands so often, and he goes for bet now. We could do something funky and jam now. Basically trying to make him fold an ace. It's not the craziest, but I'm not sure, you know, if he folds ace queen, ace jack, and he doesn't really have any bluffs. I think just folding is best. But yeah, thank you very much for whoever hit the follow button. I just missed the notification. I couldn't read it. I'll also update that improve that in the future, but thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying it. All right, we had a great start, loads of action, but now it's calming down a little bit. 8-7. If with the ante, I think we have to defend against the 2.2x open. Again, I'm not an expert with the 10 and L rake, but at higher rake, you definitely have to call this. And here, you know, you have to keep in mind we have the ante, so we have to defend quite a bit wider. just folding on this flop when he goes larger than a third. Even though we have the gotcha, we were just drawing to a 9 where, you know, any queen makes a straight, so that's not the best. And we're blinding down everywhere. Seven three, just folding. On table number 6, we have King Jack against a hijack open. This is kind of pushing it, but let's try. Again, we have to play a little bit wider, but I think King Jack is a little bit out of line, but hey, worked this time. Let's try to see who the other regulars are. This guy also looks like a regular, so that's good. And in case we have a table with just regulars, we could leave. This guy also seems to be a regular. This guy also seems to be a regular. Pocket fives, we'll just fold. 9-6 suited, again a sort of borderline hand, but I think we can open. Trying to steal the blind, especially from late position. I think opening a bit wider is fine. This guy also seems to be a regular. Just by the fact that they're playing multiple tables, not really, haven't seen any limps from them or something. Yeah, definitely let me know if one of you guys, this guy seems like a fish, is playing these games on CoinPoker, 10 NL, 25 NL. King 6 and okay hand to 3-bet. We can also just call. I think both options are fine on table 2 here. We're not really getting 4-bet. I think I like just going for the 3-bet right away. I've been 3-betting this guy a couple of times, but it's good. We'll keep the pressure on, and then if we get a good hand, maybe he starts playing back at us. In these wide situations, I'm gonna play really aggressive, 3-betting a lot, trying to put a lot of pressure. That's gonna be my game plan. Ace Jack, I think we can definitely 3-bet, even against a 3x open. Hopefully that's not a sign of him having a stronger hand. This guy also seems like a regular. Just join 2 tables. We have been 3-betting a little bit, but not against this guy. Obviously fold the best outcome against a 4-bet. We have a very easy fold. Goes quite large, so it might be a recreational with that sizing. Gonna take this tag back and just mark down the open 3x. 9-7 suited. Again, wouldn't be an open, but if it folds to me, definitely open, trying to steal, assuming that the big blind won't be 3-betting enough. And on table 6, we defended against under the gun +1, flop top pair, and we see a check back on King 10. Very interesting. On the Jack, another bad card for us. I'm going to check again. Quite curious what he checks back. And like Jacks make sense. Jack 10, Ace Jack makes sense. Going for a small block bet on the river. Trying to get called by Ace 10, Queen 10, 10, 9 maybe. Don't really think he's starting to bluff now or random like pocket fours or something. And we get a snap fold. Very interesting. After open raising here, we got flat call from the small blind, still going for a small c-bet. Checking back the turn, and then bluffing the river without any equity. 4 on the river, not the best card, but we can definitely have a queen playing like that. Again, we just need him to fold. Some of his under pairs, ace highs, missed draws, which we can represent with that sizing, like a weak king or any queen that we see with the flop check back the turn with. But we seem to run into one trap after another, which is a bit unfortunate. But hey, so be it. We got punished for playing a little bit too wide. Opening the ace 10 from the cutoff on table 4. We take it down. Gonna open raise over here with the 10 5 suited. Again, borderline hand, but into this guy who opened 3x and 3-bet to 30 big blinds, who might be a recreational, so we definitely want to open more. And we take it down, which is great. Stealing the blinds here is worth a lot more, right? You get another 0.7 BB every time you steal the blind, so it's definitely quite worth a lot with the ante. Got 2 more playable hands there. King 10 will also 3-bet, the Jack 9 just open raise. Ideally not see a 3-bet with either hand. And we get 1 fold. We open queen 10. See a very, very long tank. Yeah, just a fold. And then another fold. So people seem to be playing quite tight so far. Apart from the few crazy guys that we saw at the beginning. Or that one crazy guy that just left. So we'll have to keep that in mind when we face 3-bets and just in general aggression. This guy also has a raggish open raise sizing. This guy might actually want that I'm leaving this table. Seems like it's just nitty regulars. From the open raise sizings and from the way that they're playing. So we're gonna switch this table out and try and find a better one. That's definitely a thing that, you know, if I weren't playing on stream, you should and could do way more. Just table selecting even harder. Let's see who's there. Just looks like a regular. But yeah, it's an important aspect, right? Trying to find tables with potential recreationals and sit down on those tables and kind of avoid all the other tables. Oh, am I seeing one table twice now? Yeah, give me 1 sec. So table 4, we have to switch that and select the right one, which is this one. Perfect. Let's go to table 1 where we open the pocket 6s. In the meantime, I'm trying to find another table. We get 3-bet here, again large sizing, which is actually okay in these positions, but I think just going to fold. Just going to fold my pocket 6s there. And we get on the waiting list of a few other tables. In the meantime, we can switch to table 4 where we defend the 6-9 suited against the 3x open. We unfortunately just brick and have to check fold. And you see a large c-bet to this guy. Yeah, definitely seems like a recreational. Marking a few other players. I think it's always helpful knowing who the recs and who the recreationals are. But yeah, no action so far. We're blinding down, guys. We had, I think, 2 of these tables we had 200 big blinds, and now we're down to just 150 on both of them. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. Not just winning sessions, of course. Even though I hopefully won't have too many losing sessions. but you know, loads of variance. And if I'm not adapting correctly, the variance will be even higher. Especially getting used to the very, very high rake is something that it's going to be difficult, because obviously we want to play hands, we want to get involved, but the rake is just, you know, killing that. You have to play quite tight on the micros. But we got a playable hand on table 1. But against the 3-bet, I don't think we can call 4-bet. So we just have to let it go again. Table number 3 also seems to be breaking, so I'm gonna look for a few more tables in the meantime. Let's just open some of them. Here I'm on the waiting list already. This table doesn't look too great. This one neither. This is already 25 NL. Here I'm on the waiting list. Here I'm also on the waiting list, so yeah. Should be on all the waiting lists for now. And then let's see how it goes. We get pocket kings, guys. So hopefully we get an open race, which is good. Don't mind seeing a 3-bet either. And we're gonna 3-bet to 12 big blinds from the big blind, which I think is fine. Hoping for some action, obviously. But we just get the fold, unfortunate. Oh, sorry guys. I zoomed out, but he was just folding anyway. But we get another playable hand, the Jack 10 suited. I'm gonna go for a little polar 3-bet there with the Jack 4 suited on table 3, and that's a decent flop, guys. Gonna start with a half pot bet there with top pair and a flush draw. Gonna start out with a half pot bet, and we get a call. No help on the turn. We can either bet or check on the turn. Both options I think are fine. I think, yeah. Obviously having the flush draw, without the flush draw would always be a check. I think even with the flush draw we do just go for a check. There's better flush draws. We can get value from 9x, obviously queen 10, 8, 7. That might just check it back now. Goes check, check, and now we're gonna go, I think, just for a block bet on this river. It's not the cleanest river. And I just hope to get a call from like queen 10, king 10. If we face a re-raise, we will unfortunately have to fold. I don't think he's going to turn pocket 7s, pocket 8s into a bluff there. Although not unlikely. We get the snap jam. This is disgusting. Pocket 10s, king, queen, 8, 7. All in his range. Yeah, I don't think he finds a bluff that quickly. So we'll just have to let this go. Looked really promising, guys. But unfortunately, we just have to fold this. We just have to fold this. Could have checked, but if we check, I don't see too many hands that can bluff in the spot. So I'd rather just value bet, and most of the time get called by a hand like king 10, 10 8, 9 8, those type of hands. Double barreling would have been fine too. And then just check forward on the 10 probably. Both are fine options. And it seems like this table is dying, so I'm also gonna sit out. and then switch this table with this one. So give me a second. Table number 3 is now number 5. This one, okay. Just a few folds now. With just 4 tables, action is a little bit slow. So again, I'm gonna try and get on more waiting lists. Maybe this table here. And for table number 5, which is going to be this one. We were about to leave, but then somebody joined, so let's play here against presumable recreational very flop trips, which is great. And we're blindy blind. I was just thinking for a sec what's going on there. And we just start betting, hoping he has something. Still expect a lot of folds on this flop, but what can you do? And on table 1, we again opened a little bit looser, and we see a donk on this flop for half pot. We're gonna go ahead and raise this. Shouldn't really donk there. This can be a lot of, you know, bullshit from recreationals in very simple terms. Unfortunately, we do get a call on the 9 without improving, without picking up a heart, any equity. I think I'm just going to check this back. On a king, queen, we could have applied more pressure, I think, but here we're just going to check. If it checks again, this is now a great river to bluff. But against a very large sizing, we're just out. And we defend against a slightly smaller 3-bet on table 3. And we flop decent. Could raise here actually, but he's just not gonna have enough folds. So just going call, hoping to improve. That's a decent turn. Maybe you can win back a stack here. And he checks. We're just gonna bet now. If he has a king, I don't think he's falling with ace jack, ace queen, 8-9 as the bluff. So we definitely do have some bluffs. Gonna go for a large bet because I only really reopen with a king here or better. And then let me show you table 6, where we now on not this one but this table. Right, no. Why is it not showing the right table? One second, guys. But we can skip in the meantime to this table where we 3-bet pre-flop, and with the diamond we're gonna go for a c-bet of half pot. And we get a call, which is not great. The 7 actually a decent card, even though it might not look like one. And the lead here doesn't make too much sense because it doesn't have too much 7x really in these positions. But we also don't really have anything going, and if he leads, he's likely to be stronger than weaker, so I am just going to fold this. And I would like to show table 6, but I can't for some reason. Let me try again. Well, we can go to table 4 in the meantime. We're 3-bet and take it down. Let's zoom out again, and I'll fix the tables in a second. Yeah, just folding for now. This guy also seems like a regular. And so does this guy. Right, okay, table 6 you have a playable hand. Now I just need to get this sorted. Oh, there's 2 tables with the same name. Oh wow, that's great. Now I realize why it's not showing. Okay, with the pocket 5s we're gonna open raise. Probably calling a 3-bet unless they go ginormous. And we see a 3-bet. 11 big blinds we will be defending. We see a cold call, which is actually great. This guy likely to be a recreational. Cold calling 3-bets. And now we need a 5 on the flop, guys. Can we get one? Close, but not the worst flop. As long as not too much money goes in the middle now. We have a gut shot. Low flop, no overcards. Checks around to us. I think I'm going for a small step. They could just check, especially worried about the big blind. But so many bad turns. I think just going for a small step. If he just calls, we still have equity. Just a really, really good flop for us. Would also just set my sets and straights really small. There's no reason to really go large. And we get a jack jam. This is rough, guys. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of snap calls. I don't really see any bluffs. It's just an overpair, not wanting to play turns. And rivers making our life somewhat easy, but obviously a bit annoying when we had some redraw. Pocket 7s against a small c-bet, easy call. And then hoping to see a check back on the turn. Otherwise, we just have to fold on the ace. We see a check back on the 10. Can't really bluff, can't really value bet. We will win against the king 5, 5-4 type of hand here sometimes. So we can definitely check. If he reopens though, on the triple Broadway texture, I don't see enough bluffs. Maybe king 9 sometimes, king jack, yeah. Turn saved us there. Back to table 6, where we have a decent playable hand. We get a flat call from what looks like a recreational. Interesting spot. We can go either way between bet or check. Don't mind starting off with a check on a board where I don't really need a lot of protection. If I bet, he calls and then kind of blasts off. We're not too happy. Check check makes us really happy. Now the question is, what makes us more money, bet or check? Presumably just betting, although I expect to get a lot of folds right away. This guy plays on 2 tables, so I'm not sure if he's a recreational or not. We do get one call though. Hard on the river isn't great. This is interesting now. So if he has a queen, he doesn't really have worse queens, so he's check back a king. Could be the case. I'm going to block bet this. Trying to get a crying call from a king, maybe even pocket 6s. And he mucks, so we are fine. That's good. Let's zoom out here because we have a couple of hands going on there. We're gonna bluff here for decent sizing. We 3-bet, we get called 4-bet. We unfortunately have to fold. I think, well, now that the other guy cold calls, we get really good price. I think we're actually gonna call the pocket 8s there. And against the half-pot bet, I'm not happy, but we still obviously call the top pair. And yeah, for this price, I think we're just calling to hit a set there, honestly. But that's not our flop. If this other guy would have folded, I think I can just fold pocket 8s right away and 10 and L, facing a cold 4-bet. And now obviously, even if we have a gut shot, I mean, we're out of there. And the queen 4, one hit barrels and the king. Don't see enough bluffs. And yeah, this guy's ace king against ace queen. We were doing actually good pre-flop, but yeah, on this flop, obviously, nothing really we can do. But good to know that this guy seems to be a recreational from the way he's playing. That's great. Pocket 6s. Unless somebody cold calls, I think we're just folding. Jack 9 multi-way also doesn't play too great, even though we get great pot odds. I think we're just folding. But we have the king jack suited against the likely recreational who does 3-bet. Hoping for a good flop here. 2 overs and backdoor. Happy to see a check. We can just check back and realize I don't really want to bet a hand like this one. I'd rather bet king jack of hearts so I can just happily bet fold. And just trying to realize some equity. Flop where he can see bet a lot. This is a decent turn, obviously. We see a half pot bet now. This guy might still be kind of steaming or being a bit tilted from the pot that he just lost, so we're not really going to fold here. Unless the river's like a queen or an ace. Those two cards we don't really want to see. But against two half pot bets, I don't think we can raise and get called by like queen jack. Or something like that. So I think we just call, hope he's bluffing, sometimes beat queen jack for value, and we run to the bluff now. That's great. Table 1, we 3-bet this guy, cold calls. We went for a small c-bet and we're going to check now. Seeing what he does. Not really sure what type of recreation this is. Don't mind a check back. The 6 doesn't change too much, so I think we're just going for value bet. The question is just what sizing. Something like this, getting called by weaker jack, pocket 10s, pocket 8s. I think is fine. Anything bigger is getting a little bit thin. If he raises, obviously it's a really fucked up spot. But I think when he's in a tank, we usually have the best hand. Oh my goodness. Checks back and then jams, cold calls, checks back this flop. Oof. Pocket 6s make sense, 7-6 makes sense. Pocket jacks make sense, maybe pocket 9s. Man. This doesn't make any sense at all. Pocket queens, pocket aces. Pocket aces checking back, going for the trap. I'm tempted to call this. Maybe this is a blunder. We shouldn't really do this. Pocket 6 is the only hand that really makes sense. Pocket jacks we block. Pocket 9s. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this. Maybe spazzing off with a 9-10, 10-9, pocket 10s, pocket 8s, thinking he blocks the straight. I would have preferred if I bet small and he raises. But I think I'm going to call this. If we see the pocket 6s, I'm fine. But apart from pocket 6s, yeah, his line didn't make any sense at all. Happy I thought this one through. It's kind of scary to see the bluff raise there. But on the jack high board, on the turn, would he really check back queens plus? Pocket 6s obviously made sense, right? Calling a 3-bet, calling a small flop c-bet, and then checking back the turn. But apart from that, nothing really made sense. Obviously, he might just have aces, you know, and check it back. Could be. And obviously, I'm going to lose sometimes there, but I think... Also, in fact, he didn't go all in. He left a few chips behind. Was a bit suspicious. And we have another interesting hand here. 3 ways on table 3, where we open raise, we get a flat call, which is quite scary. We have top pair with a redraw with the straight. We get another call. Wow, this is really not great. This is really not great. Without the backdoor flush draw, I think we have very easy fold now. Even here, like the deuce, any pocket 6s, 6-5 makes a straight. Yeah, I think I'm just out. Yeah, this turn would have been horrible. Let's move to table 4 where we 3-bet. And let's go for a small c-bet. We get a call, we make the flush, that's great. Most of the time. Yeah, I think I'm just continuing betting large there. And we get a fold, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, that's okay. And on table 3, we get 3-bet with ace king, which we're definitely going to 4-bet. To something around this. And obviously calling against the jam, but we flop top pair in the 4-bet pot, guys. Could be worse. Going for a small c-bet there. Size up slightly. King high boards are really, really good. So we can even go 1/3 range there. If he has king x of hearts, he's never going to fold. We get another turn. Don't think I need to jam there. I'm not really worried about any river. So I'm just gonna go sort of geometric 1/3 again. Yeah, seems good to me. Obviously hoping for no heart on the river. But apart from my heart, I'm not worried about too much. And this way I put a little max pressure on queens, jacks. And we could check the river to let him bluff like his missed hearts, but I'd rather just jam, make sure get the money in against king queen and king jack, which at this point I don't think can fold anymore. We've so little behind. So let's go for it. We get a snap call, pretty much. King queen, perfect, guys. That's another stack, that's great. Happy about that. Obviously very lucky flop, very lucky run out. And on table 5 we went for a small stab on the turn. We're checking back now and winning against the 7 high. That's great. And on table 6 we are defending, potentially 3-betting. Let's go for 3-bet this time. If it's a recreational, I think I would rather want to 3-bet. We take it down. And then we're also open raising on table 5 again with the king 10 suited. Getting some playable hands now, that's great. Taking it down. Let's go back to the overview. We defended the jack 9 of diamonds, but probably just going to fold against any action. Check is interesting. We should really bluff on this turn and without any equity. I think I'm going to check once more, but if it checks again, I might bluff the river. Can definitely have a lot of low hearts. He checks again really quick. This is interesting. Don't think he's going to have enough diamonds. I'm just going to pot this here on table 3, trying to get him off a chopped pot. Expect a lot of calls, to be honest, because I also don't have too many hearts. A lot of them are going to lead out on the turn, but sometimes we get it through, like this time. And on table 6 we 3-bet one of the ace high boards that I'm not going to range bet, with the 8 and the 7 being connected. Ace 5 seems like a good check. We're playing a little bit deeper, don't want to play for stacks with this hand, and very happy to see a check back. On the 8 we have two options, either checking again or block betting. Very often he's just going to have nothing. How often is he going to bluff nothing though? I think I'm going for another check with a very ace with no kicker. Again, if he has like king queen of clubs, like he's drawing that, I want him to pick up something like this king on the river. And now I'm going for the block bet. Again, my kicker doesn't really play, so I'm just trying to get called by a king. We can maybe size up slightly if we want to, but it's a bit face up. Let's just go for the block there. Obviously hoping not to get raised. He could still have some diamonds in his range, but they would have considered stabbing flop or turn, I would assume. We just get the fold. Meanwhile, table 4, we call the c-bet and we check on the turn. 4 to a straight on the river, but I think we can still go for a small block bet here. It doesn't really have to 4 all that often. We get a call very quickly. I assume we're good. Yes. Let's see any of these tables that we want to leave. Maybe table number 3. Oh, sorry, number 2 doesn't look the greatest. But some pots going our way now. That's great. 5-3, again, pushing it a little bit on a flop where we can do... but I think, again, it's fine. And then this flop, we could simplify it to just a range bet. which I think I'll go for. But with 5-3, just checking would be fine too. We hit a pair, which is good enough blind to blind to check this down, trying to win against ace-10, ace-jack, maybe pocket deuces. If he bets though, I mean, we could also consider like semi-bluffing this one. Happy I didn't, because apparently he did have it, but would have been a cool play. Kind of getting him to forward, you know, 8x, some queen x, and then getting called by like ace-jack, ace-10 with a hard still, jack-10, maybe. Making sure we don't get bluffed, which, you know, sometimes we do get bluffed here. But yeah, just check folding is fine too. And I think I'm going to switch this table with a better one, just because I had another table opening up. Gervard, this is the first time, chat. I'm enjoying the stream so much. I also play on CoinPoker NL. Which times do you usually stream? I think you were the one that followed earlier, so thank you very much, and thank you for joining the stream. Glad you liked it, or glad you're liking it. This is gonna be the first time streaming for today, so first time the challenge. I'm not sure yet what my streaming hours will be. I will announce them in the Discord, so definitely make sure to check out our Discord, I think, !Discord. And I will always announce it there when I'm going to stream. So yeah, feel free to join our community there. It's completely free. If you have questions about hands, you can post them there, discuss them with the others there. So I think it's a great place for anyone really that's interested in poker. And yeah, let me know what's your nick on CoinPoker. Maybe we're gonna play sometimes against each other. That's gonna be fun, knowing some of you. Against our friend here on table 2, we're just going to check here. When we get flat called in position, we usually just want to do loads of checking. And he goes check, check. Let me actually switch this table with another, because we're about to sit out there. And I have aces on this other table. Give me 1 second. We're gonna switch those out. We get queens down here on table 4. And for table number 2, where we got a c-bet and a call, all we need to do is change this, and this is table. This one, there we go. Here we have the aces with c-bet. We're gonna go for double barrel. The straight did come in, which isn't the greatest, but I think we can still, when we're so short, play for stacks with the aces there. If he has queen 10, he got us. No action, and then on table 4, a lot of action. Too much action for our queens. We flop an under pair to the ace, so we're just going to check this. And yeah, just gonna check again on the flush completing turn. Zooming out because we also defended the 9s, but looks like we're just going to check 40 on the turn. Checking the queens. Oh, sorry, on the flop with the pocket 9s already. No diamond in our hand against early position. Not much we can do. It checks around with the queen. Value betting seems a little bit thin there. It's tempting. It's tempting. Unlikely somebody has an ace. They might call with a 10 with a pocket pair. Actually think going really, really small there. Like, I don't know, like 15%, like just 1.5 big blinds might just do the job. If they just call an ace that they would have otherwise value bet, maybe they flick in like a pocket 8s with a spade there. Yeah, just an ace. We lose a little bit, maybe just goes check, check, but I think it's fine going for a really, really small bet there. With the ace king on table 6, which we are going to 3-bet. think we're a little bit deeper. So scrolling up ever so slightly. Against the 4-bet, I'm just gonna call this deep, I think. Unless he goes like ginormous, then, you know, jam becomes a little bit better. And we just take it down, and on table number 3, I also went for a little bit of a spicy 3-bet. But hey, if he's not 4-betting us too aggressively, I think it should be fine. Taking it down is obviously great. Playing 100 bigs deep with the suit connectors on at the end of the world. Here we had a limp pot. We see a half pot c-bet. Probably calling one with a pair on the board, backdoor flush draw. And we do hit our backdoor flush draw, so we probably have to call another one, but okay. And now checks around. Could bluff, trying to make him fold. Yeah, seems a bit ambitious there, to be honest. I think I'm just going to check this. I'm gonna zoom out because we have a couple hands going on here. Here we 3-bet, gonna go for half pot c-bet. We're gonna 4-bet the ace queen, fold the 6-5, and versus the small lead with the pocket deuces. I think I'm going for a small raise just to check down on turns and rivers, potentially bluff on a card like this one. The ace queen, unfortunately, we get a jam. Maybe in these positions, if they're too tight, I should just fold. And then we get another lead with the pocket deuces. Doesn't make too much sense. It could be just clicking buttons, but on a board like this, where even, you know, even if bluff have a lot of equity, I think I'm just folding. Table 5, sorry, a lot of action now. We going for a small c-bet. Hello there, Mr. Zocht. How are you doing? Gonna go for an overbet on the turn with our turned open ender, applying max pressure. Hoping for a fold, obviously. If we see a call, we hope to improve. Otherwise, we probably have to blast this off, even though it's not the greatest spot when we get called on a turn. He will have a lot of king X, but I think we are gonna go with this one. Kind of put him to the test. Yes, he can have a king 8 sometimes, but let's see if people on 10 and L fold top pairs. If we ever have a candidate, I think this one is one of the best ones. Could we use smaller sizings? Doesn't make too much sense. Let's just put him to the test. We get snap call. Oh, okay, he turned the 2 pair. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's like one of the yeah, hand that's obviously never going to fold. We still don't know if he's going to fold the top pair or not, but I think it's fine there with 6 high. In the meantime, with the aces on a low board, big blind could have a 4x, small blind really shouldn't. Both players can have pocket 6s. We're a little bit deeper, so betting, getting raised, playing for stacks is not the greatest. Checking back aces wouldn't be the end of the world here. This is interesting. Letting them pick up something. Depends a bit on how aggressive they are. I think still just playing it simple and going for c-bet is probably the best. We get a call. This guy's gonna have a lot of pocket pairs, so happy if he calls and then the big man just folds or also calls. The big man raises now. That's the only thing we don't want to see. We see a fold, that's fine. Jack shouldn't change too much. Shouldn't change too much, so we're gonna keep betting here. Gonna go somewhat large. Could maybe even consider overbetting. But I think pot bet size is fine there. You might still have like an ace-4 of clubs occasionally. So I don't want to go too overboard. We do unfortunately just get the fold. Let's zoom back out again. So yeah, we lost the stack there against the 8-7. 6-handed king 5 suited is close. Let's go for it. And we get punished right away. But yeah, question is still, if he doesn't have a top pair, does he call, does he fold? Our line obviously looks extremely strong. We would have all the sets, all the 2 pairs. So I still don't hate 9 play. I think it's fine to go for it. Not the line that I want to bluff too much in, especially in this brick river, but I think with 6-5 high, it's justifiable. And this guy on the button here seems to bluff a lot, so we'll keep that in mind. Down to 20 bigs, but yeah, we'll definitely give him an opportunity to bluff if we ever get in a spot again. How are you doing, Mr. Talk? Do you still playing on CoinPoker sometimes, or you're playing on 888 now, or I think so we flatted, sorry, we're 3-betting here with the 10-9 suited. Again, kind of borderline, but hey, we need some hands. When we get 4-bet really, really small, this is tempting to call here. I think for this price we can. Yeah, I think with this price, maybe it's gonna be another punt. I mean, here we're just gonna fold, but I think for this price it's hard to not call. Maybe just as aces, then obviously we should fold, but I think he might have occasional bluff here sometimes. Occasionally, I had like ace king that is going to brick sometimes, and we're gonna hit. He checks to us, either setting the trap, but at least letting us realize some equity. So I'm gonna check back. Peter with the lol emoji probably is seeing me jam it off with 6 high. We turn an open-ender, guys, so this could be something, or it could just be a card where we lose more money. If he bets, you know, we have a very easy call. Still, like, we can call and bluff the river if he checks to us. If he checks again, it's interesting. Obviously, it's quite a weak line, checking twice out of position the 4-bet pot. But if he checks and we bet and he jams, it's kind of a disaster because we have to fold. So I think I'm going to check this down again, especially after the suspiciously long tank, and then bluff on the river. If I had, like, you know, complete air, but even if I have like 9s, maybe I want to keep the pot small. Pocket 8s, I can set the trap for 3 streets. Ace queen, you know, I would check 3 times. So at least we got to realize our full equity. If he bets now, we're folding. If he checks, we're bluffing, kind of wrapping the ace queen, king queen type of hand, trying to make him fold ace king. He block bets. Doesn't make too much sense, but I'm still just folding. We got to realize equity, which is what we wanted. And we have some action again with the ace king, or potential action again. And we also have a code 4. We have a 4-bet bluff that went through on table 2 with ace 4. And then we also went for code 4-bet with the ace queen, but both people are donking. Well, one is donking, the other one is calling. We have the ace of hearts, but just going to fold there when they're going at it. Would have been a good turn to bluff, but yeah. And on table 4, we're going to 3-bet and hopefully stack off. Well, do we just jam it? No, I think we still 3-bet. And we get a call. And this is obviously ugly, but yeah. We're just going to... You could check call or just jam it. I'm not really folding any pair, but you know, we have decent fold equity, so I think we're just going to jam it in ourselves for like a little under pot. We do actually get a fold, which is great. And we flopped a set, but no action with the pocket trees there. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. All right. Ace 5 off, blindy blind. We're going to open raise. And Queen 6-5, interesting flop. Not one where I think we want to range bet. The two low connected cards. The fact that the flop is a flush draw. We want to do a decent amount of checking. Bottom pair seems like a decent candidate to check. With the ace of hearts would be okay to bet too, but I think just playing it somewhat face up and checking there's fine. It goes check check. The ace on the turn is kind of great for us. Now it goes check check. On the break, I think we mainly wanna, you know, bet somewhat polarized. We could kind of employ a smaller sizing for hands like 6x, 7s, 8s, 9s, but I think a 5, again, a fairly comfortable fold again. Sorry, fairly comfortable check. And interesting now on the river. Unlikely he has much. Is he going to bluff though? I think we do check again. Maybe he's just gonna check back too much, but he's just gonna have nothing so often. And if we ever do get the bet, we can go for the very, very big check raise. And he might hopefully not believe us. So we'll do a little bit of a Hollywood tank there. And then raise. Yeah, something like this. And hopefully he calls us. He just had nothing. That's great too. But at least we got it on one more bet. Here the trick kind of, when you have the ace in your hand with the kicker, let's say at king 5, I'm more likely to bet, trying to get called by an ace side. But if you have the ace, you really block his check backs, make it way more likely he has absolutely nothing. That's either going to bet if he has a pair or bluff if he doesn't have anything. So I think the check there makes sense specifically with the ace 5. Here we're blindy blind. He checks us on the flop. We have a flush draw. We could check this back sometimes, but I don't mind going for a small step there. If we have a 7 and a 3 on a board like this one, there's a lot of incentive for us to step this on the flop, trying to make him fold jack 10 offsuit. And then obviously a flush draw, fine hand to bet, but checking back would be okay too. We get the ace 4, which we could potentially 3-bet. Probably not against the short stack guy, but against later positions, probably will go for it. Goes for 3x. Always a bit reluctant 3-betting against 3x because I'm not sure if it's their only open raise sizing and it might be stronger. But, you know, I guess we'll find out. If you want to be conservative, just folding would be okay too. Definitely wouldn't be a mistake. And we do take it down. So it seems to be his normal open raise sizing. Table 5, we defended. Actually didn't see its multi-way where this gets, should probably just be a fold. Checks around though. We don't pick up any equity. And I think multi-way, we can't really do anything here. On table 2, we get a playable hand against, nice, this looks like likely to be a recreational player. I'm gonna play another 10 minutes or so. Been going for 2 hours almost, but it's been a lot of fun, so curious to see what the results will be in the end. Table 1 is dying, so I'm gonna switch this one out quickly and I go over to table 1 and properties. We are here on this one. Perfect. And table 6 we open raised. We're gonna go for a small c-bet. Really good board texture for us. We have 2 overs. We have a backdoor straight, a backdoor flush draw. We have something going for us. He's gonna have lots. He's played from a small blind, which makes his range a little bit stronger. He's gonna have a lot of pocket pairs, some 10x for sure. But we do just get a fold right away, which is obviously great. Yeah, maybe I will even do a little bit longer than 2 hours. Just to get a decent start. I want to get ahead of Peter as quickly as possible. And it seems like the tables are good. So why not? With the pocket jacks here on table number 5. I'll drink some water. And we get some action against our nemesis who stacked us with the turn 2 pair. On ace 8, 7 with pocket jacks, I think just going for a check back. Probably gonna be a decent option. Could go for small c-bet too. And we have another interesting hand here. 200 big blinds deep, 3-betting big blind against early position. Interesting flop, I think, starting out with a small c-bet here. Given the fact that we're deeper, makes sense. We could also check there. You can have 8 sixes pretty much always. But we do just take it down, which is fine. Let's zoom back out. No interesting hand at the moment. I'll note this down, the 3x RFI. Maybe it means something, because I think this guy was opening 2x earlier, if I'm not mistaken. 4-3 suited on the bottom left table. We're gonna defend if we don't see a 3-bet. And we don't, so let's see a flop. Yeah, a little backdoor straight, a little backdoor flush shot, but probably not enough. If this were like ace 9, ace 9, I think we could defend. Very suspicious when he checks back on a flop that he should really just range bet. So yeah, I mean, we don't have anything, so we'll just go for a check. Snap check again. Tempting to bluff now with 4 high. Just to make him fold like pocket pairs, like pocket sixes, no spade, maybe. Trying to wrap like a queen. And we do take it down, right? So, very weird line, very odd line from him checking back there. But I think going, obviously being somewhat careful. And not like blasting off when he could just, you know, trap you with a random ace that he checked back. But then still kind of trying to go for a cheap bluff. Just in case he, you know, has nothing. Instead of just checking down 4 high is probably the best approach on 10 and L. Here we define blindly blind and we flop top and bottom on a somewhat dynamic board. So I think versus a bet I would have just called. Versus a check, this hand is actually not horrible to check bet. If we get check raised, stacks go in, we're not happy. There's a lot of ugly turns and rivers, so I think just checking back, kind of seeing how it evolves. I think this turn is also not great for us. If we bet, he calls. Kind of flushes, he's kind of ace jack, ace 9. Now though, I think I want to start betting. And if he just calls, so we can probably go for another bet against his random ace-x hands. Don't think he check calls many better hands here. Maybe ace 9 makes sense to kind of lay the trap there. We can have a lot of like 8, 7, 7, 6 offsuit with a heart here, or just random queen 5 of clubs there. So I think I'm gonna go for an extra greedy bet. If he has an ace, it might be hard for him to get away, but we do just get to fold. If he's pocket 8s with a heart, he's probably folding to any bet, so don't mind going quite larger. That's the reason we trapped on flop. And I think I'm also gonna sit out this table. Looks like it's all regulars. But first we will open raise. Two hands, Jack 6 and Jack 9 suited. Jack 6 suited, we get 3-bet. That's the one that we have to fold, unfortunately. And we can also get 3-bet with Jack 10. Here we can go for a 4-bet though. Let's make it, oh sorry, 23 big blinds. Hoping for a fold, obviously. We get a call, and that's a decent flop for a 4-bet pot. Not complaining. Not complaining here at all. Let's start with a... Yeah, this flops you could even size up. Let's go for something in the middle, 33%. With some other action going on other tables, but let's focus in on this one for now. And we get raised. This is super interesting. Really large sizing. This seems just like a flush draw, like pocket jacks something. I don't think he's ever really folding there. So I think I'm just gonna jam this in. Does he ever just randomly spaz off? Not for that large of a sizing, right? Yeah, I'm just all in. If he has a flush draw, let's run it. If he has pocket 10s, pocket jacks, I don't think he's folding. If he folds a flush draw, it's great too. I don't really see what he bluff raised. He actually did have a bluff raise. Wow. And just spewed off 50 big blinds. Interesting, really interesting. But we take it. Table is dying. So we're going to switch that one out. We also took down a decent sized pot on table 2, where we called with bottom pair twice, and we are actually good with the bottom pair with the redraw, with the flush draw, and he just gave up on the river. That was great. Let's close this table and bring in, which one are you guys seeing now? I think you're seeing this one, perfect. So the automatic switched. And on table number 6, we have the pocket aces. We do have the pocket aces. And yeah, I think I'm actually gonna keep playing a little bit. It's quite fun at the moment. We have aces against a short stack, opening to 3x. Don't think we need to go much larger than 12 big blinds here. Maybe 12.5 or something. 13 could have been fine still. But yeah, unfortunately, we still get the fold. Yeah, also open raising on table number 3. And we get cold called. Maybe this guy is just recreational, to be honest, after this other hand in a 4-bet pot. And also flat calling a lot. But he's just playing a lot of tables. Could be. We'll start off with a check here. We have absolutely nothing. Now we found another table. Goes check, check. Ace 10 high. Kind of check again. Could start bluffing, but we have quite a bad hand to bluff. Not sure he folds pocket pairs on this turn. On Jack, King, obviously always bluffing. And he bets, I think, yeah. Just letting this one go. Let me zoom in on table 6 now, which is not this one. Sorry, table 5. Which is also not this one. So give me a second. Get this one going. Nope. It's not helpful that some tables have the same name. Still not. Alright. Well, let's zoom out. We have some hands going anyway. With ace king getting 3-bet by a recreational. With a limp pot here where we'll start betting with our top pair. Here we have middle pair with a redraw. So we're just gonna try and get to showdown. Ace king against the recreational being slightly deeper on table number 2. I think I'm just going to call this here. I want to 4-bet and then get jammed and not really know what to do. And Against a small or even a half pot bet, we're probably calling one with ace king. Definitely calling against a small bet. And kind of see what he does on the turn. Check raising rather with like a 10-9 type of hands, 5-6 type of hand. And unfortunately no help on the turn. He continues betting small, which is really, really interesting. Maybe pocket tens makes sense. We have the ace of spades, which is not great. But against the recreational, I'm somewhat tempted to call this again. I think I'm flicking in one more here. We're still beating our bluffs. We get a good price. The king and the ace is basically the nuts. If he bets again, though, I think I will just fold. Jacks make sense to play this way. But he might give up like a ace queen, king 10 type of hand on the river. 7 is somewhat annoying to bluff, but looks like he's going to fire another bullet. And when he sizes up now, I think we'll just let him have this one. Still suspicious, but against a triple barrel from a presumable recreational and tribute pot, I don't think we need to call down ace high. We're gonna have so many jack X to call down to it. And I don't think this line is really over bluffed or anything. So let's see. I think I still need to fix table 6. Yeah, 1 second there. This should be this table. There we go. Where we also seems like 1 or 2 recreationals, which is good. Table number 2 is dying. It's not great. This one down here. But we still have a recreational, so we're gonna keep playing this one. Face a min open and the call from the recreational. Sorry, that's table number 3. Still good enough, I think, to flick it in. Potentially dicey spot there with top pair weak kicker multi-way, but at least we have the redraw going for us. Prefer to see a check back from the button though. It should most of the time give us the best hand. And with the recreation, I think I'm actually just going to bet this on a double flush draw board. We're gonna have a lot of draws there. Obviously the size should be larger there, but because I just have top pair with a weak kicker, I'm going for kind of medium sizing. Normally you would want to overbet on a texture like this one. It's a bit thin. Button could check back a hand like ace-6 of spades or whatever. And now it's interesting. The hearts getting there is not great. But I think I'm just going to block now, kind of wrapping like a missed spades, trying to get crying call from a jack. If we get raised, I think we can fold this, but we do get the fold, which is fine. And we zoom out because we have 2 hands. We get 3-bet here, fairly small sizing. Tempting to do kind of anything, but let's go for the 4-bet. And then the ace-king, we just start off with a small c-bet. Oh, I have ace-queen suited, never mind, this is my bet, I should just call. Oh, and I got punished right away. I thought it ace-queen offsuit. That's really bad. That is really, really bad. On table 1, check call and we get a lead. On a 3, which makes absolutely no sense. Do we call or do we raise? I think we just let him bluff, to be honest. Spade getting there is not ideal. He could have, well, we have the king of spades, so like what spade does he have? I mean, we obviously just calling. We probably can't value jam anymore. If he checks, we're going for a bet now. Don't think he's folding an ace. Although it's quite tough for us to have bluffs here, to be honest. But hey, we have ace king with a spade, and we just get a fold. Table 4, where we accidentally 4-bet instead of called our ace queen suited. which to be honest isn't the worst in these positions. We're gonna 3-bet. We get an interesting flop there. Flop middle pair on a mono flop. Don't hate going for a small c-bet. Don't hate going for a check back. Let's see. Denying a lot of equity from overpairs, but yeah, I don't mind just checking this back. So obviously turns like this ones that aren't an overpair. We let a lot of weak stuff still in his range. Don't know who this player is, which isn't the best. And now he comes out firing. We're gonna have to almost call one, but not loving the fact that he goes large. And if he bets again, I think we just fold him. There isn't an argument to even just fold the turn right away. Blocking 7-8 as a potential bluff. He doesn't have too many offsuited combinations when he bets the turn. King Queen offsuit King Jack. If this is a recreational player, I shouldn't really fold, but yeah, I think we do still fold though. We're gonna have 4x here, 10x that checks back. That just makes better calls, and again, I don't think this is a spot where people are gonna go crazy on a mono flop. Oh, raising smaller just into the recreational, trying to steal there. Yeah, getting somewhat tired, so I'm not gonna keep it going that much longer. Also, some of the tables are breaking, but starting with a small c-bet with the king 6, 3-betting on table 6 against the cutoff with pocket 9s, against recreational regular, I'm still not sure. And we get a flop. Good flop for our range, not good for our hand. Gonna still go for a small c-bet with range. And we get a call, which is not great. Don't think this is, again, a great spot to bluff. We're gonna have a lot more natural bluffs. Pocket 9s, we're still ahead of some King Jack, King 10 that might check the turn. Obviously they can bluff us and we just have to fold facing a bet, but yeah, we just have so little chance of improving. If he has like ace jack of hearts, we're basically drawing that, so unfortunately just have to check fold. We're open raising. We definitely call 250 big blinds deep against the 3-bet here. Don't expect this guy to do much 3-betting because of that reason. He also has the short stick behind. But still, with a hand like that can, you know, kind of make nutted hands, I would be calling. And against the recreational, I think I'm just gonna play my hand and go for a smallish c-bet. And look at this. I mean, let's zoom out because we get check raise, but we also flop the nuts over on table 1 and we see a big bet. I'm not gonna go slow playing there, so we're gonna call with our bottom pair, although not really loving this. And here we're just gonna go for a sizable check raise. We get a call and we get a brick on the turn. Really, really interesting. Gonna just bet this again. 4 like pot and the 7-8, I think I'm just folding. Hoping for a blank on the river. Obviously, super strong line for me there on a board that this is this good for me. Backdoor spades come in, which isn't the greatest. By no means. But I think we're still all in, guys. If he has Jack 9, if he has pocket kings, I'm not sure he's going to fold this. Would be unfortunate if he has like ace queen. But we block also the flush with the jack. I don't see too many better hands. So yeah, I think I'm all in, guys. Wish me luck. We get snap call, that's not great. But he has king queen. So we win a big one there towards the end. That's great. Yeah. Obviously, very, very lucky run out there for us. Very good flop for us too. But I'm not complaining. Nice one there. And pocket deuces. Should we treat ourselves to a flat call 200 big blinds deep against the min open with antes? I think so. Tables are breaking, so I think we're gonna play in orbit more. So, and what a flop, guys. The heat is turning on towards the end of the stream. Not complaining there. Unfortunately, we see a check behind. And now the question is, do we go for another trap or do we go for a bet? I think we go for another trap here. Wow, snap check. And now the ace. He's gonna have an ace a lot here. I think he's gonna value bet this. I hope he's going to value bet this. Wow, just another snap check. Then he probably didn't have an ace there. Well, we take it. We take it. And I'm gonna sit out the next blinds. I think we had a nice stream. Good way to end this. Unfortunately, no value with the pocket deuces there. Maybe we could have gone for a bet on the turn. Table number 3 seems to be the wrong one. So I'll fix that for you. And this should be this table. Perfect. And the rest I think is fine. Yeah. This table also is done. So we're gonna have 3 more tables. Playing the last orbit and then the big reveal, seeing how much we made today. I think, I mean, we're very definitely up. But just a question of how much. Interesting spot on table 4. ISO, small ISO. I think I'm actually gonna go for this. I think if they had a better hand, they might have ISO larger. There's a lot of dead money out there. Obviously, the guy from under the gun calls. Just gonna incentivize the other ones to come along. Maybe we could have made it a little bit larger, because now everybody's gonna call. Yeah. Who do these flop top here? This is interesting. They could have 10s, pretty much all of them, 6s, pretty much all of them, ace jack, pretty much all of them. Checking back isn't out of this world. We're only really afraid of an ace or a queen on a turn. We see a donk. So this guy also seems to be recreational. Not loving life here, but calling, hoping the other guys just fold. And I was hoping for brick on the turn. He can have king queen for sure. If he jams now, it's super rough. Really, really happy to see just a check there. Hard though to imagine many worse hands, but maybe like a flush draw that just decides to give up. We're just trying to get to showdown at this point. Another not ideal card. If you had like ace 10 of clubs randomly leading the turn, we're losing to that now. But we see another check. Hoping to chop against king jack, maybe win against king 10 leading out for some reason. Jack 9. But I can imagine a lot of king queens here, maybe ace queens that just don't want to go. Oh wow, pocket sixes, going for the trap. Yeah, that made sense too. But we kind of lost the minimum there. Bit of a loose ISO there. Maybe we should have gone a little bit larger, but I think it's fine. This guy also seems to be a recreational player. Over on table number 3. We get to play one more pot. Gonna start out with a check there with a medium ace. And we see a half pot bet. I think this guy's also recreational. And against the half pot bet, we obviously have a very comfortable call. Hoping he bluffs whatever random hand he has. If he triples on this board, it's getting scary, but really happy to see a small turn sizing. This could be like a hand like ace 8, or just, you know, random air. rarely gonna be a better hand. Could be a flush draw for sure. Spades obviously not great. Now we're hoping for a check back. Ace queen. Alright, that's fine. Surprised to see a small turn bet only. And then I think we're done with this table. Going over to the last one. And we can already have a quick look at the results. And it doesn't look too great, honestly. With all that rake, which we paid a lot. I think we're only up like 2 buy-ins or something. We started with something's playing on CoinPoker, so started with 1,651, and unless this didn't refresh, we're only in 1.661. Maybe we can show this in a second. But yeah, looks like we're up 2 buy-ins, which is an okay start. Probably would get some rake back there as well, but we're not gonna count that for now. So decent start, could have been better. The rake probably killing us here. But yeah, we'll take it. Winning session, and then maybe going to 25 nil right away in the next session. And yeah, last hand that we're folding. So I'll post the results in the Discord, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to this, and see you guys around. Have a good one. Bye bye.